today. So talk to us about the competitive nature of exploration along your part of the world right now, the west coast of Africa.
Thank you.
Obeth, talk to us, as I said, about the competitive nature right now when it comes to securing these exploration licenses. How competitive is it, and how tough is it to get your hand on one of these licenses?
It's extremely competitive right now, just for one single reason, and that is we don't have an endless supply on that demand. That's the first point. Second point being, much of it has, and the best juicy part of it, has been taken already. Mm-hmm. So what we are actually licensing right now would be the fringe acreages left. Yep. And even so, sometimes we step into the arena of the relinquished bits of the licenses. So the lines for demand are growing ever by the minute. So thus far perhaps we are nearing above 50 licenses, perhaps most of those in the last 2 to 3 years. So we've really run out, or we are very nearly at the end of it all, yeah, in terms of free supply without a very peak demand. The demand is high, the competition is high. The timing to get it, this is an open licensing policy currently at the moment. You get in there, you are likely to be first at an opportunity. So the later you are, the more in the queue you become. And at least government negotiating team takes the approach, or the licensing authority takes the approach to say, almost first come, first service. So that's really the regime that governs it all at the moment.
Now, just from a geological perspective, talk to us about these deep water pre-salt basins along this part of the coast, because, what makes them so attractive? Why is everyone jostling to get their hands on one of them? Well, there we go. It seems like we have a problem there with Obeth. Hi, can you hear me now? I can see him trying to get that earpiece sorted there.
I can hear you clearly.
Great, yeah. So I was just saying, from a geological perspective, why is everyone...
I have very tiny ears, so the thing doesn't fit.
So can you hear me now, Obeth?
Yes.
So just saying, from a geological perspective, we're looking at these deep water pre-salt basins. Why is everyone so excited about getting their hands on a license? I mean, how attractive is the potential oil going to be in the ground or in the sea?
Yeah, the oil prices are doing very well. The crude prices are not really tumbling down. But then the most important thing is, all along the West African margin, you've got all these big discoveries. Look at Angola, look at the Niger Delta, look at Ghana. You can go as far across the Atlantic and compare that same geology along the eastern part of Brazil or Latin America. And there you have absolute big giant discoveries. So what the oil companies have done through the advance of technology, they've pushed the barriers of ever more deeper waters. And this is where it all is left. Mm-hmm. So if you have big fields like the Tupi field in Brazil, which was discovered in waters as deep as 6,000 meters of water, perhaps, and those are real big fields, somewhere in the region of 5 to 8 billion barrels of reserves. So this is a gold mine, a black gold mine, if you so will. So the extension of such reserves for any one company that finds it, it's massive. It runs for tens of years. So the world would have seemingly got a new discovery in terms of resources. The oil is not about to end. It fuels every bit of the world. So it's still a very, very lucrative business. Mm-hmm. The alternative energies have not come in to actually replace the traditional conventional fuel types throughout every economy in the world. So the reason for Africa proving, and Namibia in particular, becoming one of the what we call last frontiers is simply because we have a very large coast that is relatively underexplored. The regime is very competitive. The fiscal setup is very competitive. Legal setup extremely competitive. The turnaround time for a company from application stage to actually getting a license stage. It's about plus minus 2 months, 3 months, that kind of period. Sometimes a lot faster. So the overriding issue is the pay that seems to be in this very deep place that we are all hunting for. And they are dotted all along the West African margin. So Africa is really playing a very key role. The conjugate margin nature of the geology across the Atlantic between the West African coastlines, particularly Namibia, Angola, South Africa, across to Brazil, is one key driver. The guys opposite, at the very end, east of us, or west of us, have actually found big reserves in much deeper water. And that is the chase of the current geology between the two continents.